Good morning, and welcome to Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Larry Laviter, and I'm joined today by Paul Gibb, our service associate, Tad Korath, Wendy Nelson, and Tracy Bush providing music, and our AV techs, Don Price and Eric Williams. As I say the welcome words today, I invite you to shift into gallery mode if you haven't already, and scroll through the screens to see who else is with us this morning and the great diversity of this congregation. So let's begin. You are welcome here today in all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcomed here.
In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here.
In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcomed here.
No matter what tradition has informed your spiritual life, if any, you are welcome here today.
No matter how long you are away, nor how soon before you return, you are welcomed here.
Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here.
You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and whenever possible, willing hands.
We welcome you today.
This congregation is committed to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. If you are new here, we are glad you found us and hope that even on Zoom, you can still experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Each Sunday is different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. If you want to get better connected, please see the chat window for the link to our first-time visitors page and an email address of our office manager, Carol Pransky. If you are not receiving connections weekly already, please sign up at the last link in the chat. And finally, if any new visitors would like to introduce yourself in the chat, please do. All are invited to a virtual coffee hour break in breakout rooms after the service.
If you have a chalice at home, you can light it as we light our fellowship chalice. So we know where all our chalices are. Please write in the chat, chalice lit, and the name of your town. You are invited to say these words along with me. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
Now Paul will ring the bell again, drawing us deeper into this present moment and this our beloved community.
This is a poem called Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our stories from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. Heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, then our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
This is a reflection called Discovering What's Inside Me. How easy it is for us to get so hung up in what our society expects of us that we fail to see who we really are and what our real needs are. I grew up, and I suspect a great many of us grew up, in a perfectionistic culture that largely ignored our innermost emotional needs. The family I grew up in was almost totally emotionally dysfunctional, which was not at all unusual in our culture, especially back then. My father was a Manhattan Project scientist who never bonded with his two children, both born during the war. And my parents had read books by an idiot psychologist named B.F. Skinner, books which said you should not show affection to your children, and you should even raise them in isolation as much as possible. So basically, the only time I ever got a single smile or a word of praise from my parents was when I got all A's on my report card. When I didn't get all A's, I was basically a nobody. So I spent my first 24 years trying to get A's in everything. And when I wasn't instantly perfect at something, I totally lost confidence and had stage fright. The worst thing I repressed in the first 23 years of my life was my inner need for deep connection with other human beings. How did it come about that in my 24th year, I suddenly knew how to give and receive love and to do so without all that fear? It's not what you might expect, I'm sure. Basically, the best thing that ever happened to me came about only because of the worst thing that ever happened to me, namely a nightmarish trip on a paranoia-causing psychedelic drug. Suddenly, buildings were about to topple and fall on me. Cars and trucks were about to break tie rods and come up over the curb and hit me. How, you might ask, could a negative experience like that have a positive outcome? Well, it's because it got me to examine thoroughly that which was inside of me. And I got some very good therapy, which helped me realize how thoroughly my childhood had messed me up. And I began to see that my psychedelic-related fears were in some ways extensions or reflections of my much deeper fears of rejection and abandonment. And I emerged from the whole experience totally happy and open to deeper relationships. But writing this reflection has made me realize there may still be more things hidden inside myself. And I wonder just what it might take for me and for all of us to release all of who we are from inside the prison of perfectionism. Let us work to help ourselves and others in this perfectionistic society discover what is behind that face in the mirror and to make it far less difficult and painful to do so. May that be our promise and our prayer.
Good morning, beloveds. This morning, we take aim at the image you see in the mirror every day and dive deeply into concepts of self and others, which hopefully will help us to see how our public and private lives are fractal images of fractal images of what Thich Nhat Hanh called interbeing. That is similar in some ways to what ecologists refer to as co-evolved. Our theme for January is and has been living with intention. I was a little concerned about that initially, remembering the proverb, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I wondered if we might need to address those kinds of good intentions that totally miss the mark. In my life, many intentions have not borne fruit. When I Googled the proverb, I got a surprising 2,070,000 results. So something's going on there. Deepak Chopra put his finger on the critical dynamic with this quote: consciousness or conscious change is brought about by the two qualities inherent in consciousness, intention and attention. Whatever you put your attention on will grow stronger in your life, and whatever you take your attention away from will wither, disintegrate, and disappear. So the problem is the discrepancy between what we aspire to and what we have, or what we think we have to pay attention to in our culture and public lives. As Rick Warren points out, those who follow the crowd usually get lost in it. Or as Richie Norton proposes, intentional living is the art of making our own choices before others' choices make us. The choices that others make can constrain our intentions. And this dynamic works whether our intentions are morally laudable or depraved. Let's take the intention to be more compassionate, for instance. Leslie Jameson has this lovely short meditation on that intention. Empathy isn't just something that happens to us. It's also a choice we make to pay attention. It's made of exertion, the dowdier cousin of impulse. It's made of, sometimes we care for another because we know we should. But this doesn't make our caring hollow. The act of choosing simply means we've committed ourselves to a behavior greater than our individual inclinations. This confession of effort chafes against the notion that empathy should always arise unbidden, that genuine means the same thing as unwilled, that intentionality is the enemy of love. But she continues, I believe in intention. I believe in work. I believe in waking up in the middle of the night and packing our bags and leaving our worst selves for our better ones. Or as Anne Voskamp says, much more prosaically, I might add, any dead fish can go with the flow. You have to be intentionally alive to swim against the current. So here's a question for us. What is that current, figuratively speaking, that we have to swim against? And that does all that paving to hell. What is it that's grabbing all our attention, absconding with our good intentions and using them for the off-ramp to both our private and our collective miseries? I don't think it matters what the nature of our intention is. What compels our attention is the dynamic we need to be aware of. You just heard Bob Dylan's sort of Zen koan-like meditation, Love Minus Zero, No Limit. I'd like to read it again for you because I think it bears repeating. My love, she speaks like silence, without ideals or violence. She doesn't have to say she's faithful, yet she's true, like ice, like fire. People carry roses, make promises by the hours. My love, she lasts like the flowers. Valentines can't buy her. In the dime stores and bus stations, people talk of situations, read books, repeat quotations, draw conclusions on the wall. Some speak of the future. My love, she speaks softly. She knows there's no success like failure. And failure is no success at all. The cloak and dagger dangles, madams light the candles. In ceremonies of the horsemen, even the pawn must feel the grudge. Statues made of matchsticks crumble into one another. My love winks. She does not bother. She knows too much to argue or to judge. The bridge at midnight trembles. The country doctor rambles. Banker's nieces seek perfection, expecting all the gifts that wise men bring. The wind howls like a hammer. The night blows cold and rainy. My love, she's like some raven at my window with a broken wing. In the late 1960s, this song was popular. I was drawn to its message, symbolism, and contradictions. The phrase that intrigued me the most at the time was, there's no success like failure. And failure is no success at all. Society's institutions drill the message of success over failure in schools, churches, sports, literature, business, and even families. It comes in different packages, like likened to a carrot and a stick. Let's just look at the carrots, like good grades, scholarships, sainthood, trophies, profits, sales, raises, awards, praise for compliance with valued social behaviors such as competitiveness, discretion, devotion, loyalty, and adaptability. But adaptation to a mindlessly voracious, violent, unjust, cruel, and ecologically ignorant society is not healthy, nor is it sustainable. So in rejecting the prescribed success offered to my generation during the civil rights protests of the 60s, the draft for the undeclared war in Vietnam, and the National Guard killing students at Kent State for exercising freedom of speech, we needed to cobble together our own vision of success. One example, propagated by Timothy Leary, was tune in, turn on, and drop out. I too had a similar experience to Paul, the one that he shared earlier, with a bad trip. Many scholars who have studied Dylan's love minus zero remark that it's structured like a Zen koan. Koans work by stalling the logical mind with paradoxical statements, such as, my love speaks with silence. And therefore, the paradoxical statements would therefore quiet the logical mind and allow the deeper nature of awareness to arise. Contemplation of a koan is an invitation to open to the present without ideals or violence, without accepting others' definition of success, without argument or judgment, but with compassion for all who, like us, wash up on the stormy shores of struggle with a broken wing. It was important for me to realize that the current I had to swim against was unavailable to my conscious mind. I had learned during my youth to play cowboys and Indians. Never wanted to be an Indian because I understood that they were losers. And I read many comic books featuring World War II and Cold War enemies and all their derogatory monikers, Nazis, Krauts, Japs, commies, gooks. I could go on, but you get the point. Monsters all worthy of justly violent destruction. Of course, the characterization of Blacks as shiftless, dangerous, dumb, and lazy was presented every Saturday morning on the otherwise innocuous kids show, The Little Rascals. As a child, these cultural memes settle in place without any dissonance in our segregated society and form a subconscious gestalt of the social world, which is fraught with white supremacist ideas. High school, college, and beyond was where I struggled to be mindful of these subterranean stories. I was only aware of this because I majored in psychology, which led me to reading several books by Alan Watts and others. But his were Psychotherapy East and West, This Is It, and a whole lot of others over time, in which I was introduced to a society or a culture of meditation. There are two types of meditation that are germane to our examination of intention and attention: mindfulness meditation and loving kindness or metta meditation. In her recent book, The End of Bias, author Jessica Nordell explores these two techniques and how they have been used to help law enforcement stay calm in stressful situations. Hint, it has to do with non-judgmental attention. She notes, dozens of rigorous studies demonstrated several undeniable effects: a decrease in reactivity to stress, an increase in attention, care for others, lessened bodily inflammation, depression, and anxiety. Why might cultivating non-judgmental awareness and attention have these effects? She says, it helps to think about how mindfulness works. We think of our typical habitual reactions as tightly linked to our perceptions. We take in sensory information, we interpret or categorize it, and we react with some combination of feelings, behaviors, and thoughts. We might react with joy or relief or fear, anxiety, or aggression. These steps happen so quickly and we react so automatically that they essentially function as one. like a bundle of sticks wrapped together tightly with a strap. If the different parts of a habit are like individual sticks, mindfulness seems to loosen the strap. As the parts of the habit are gently separated, one can examine them in turn. Mindfulness contributes an important element to this de-automatizing of mental habits. Practicing non-judgment helps us sit with those thoughts and feelings rather than turn away. And practicing attention strengthens our cognitive control. End quote. So that is how mindfulness meditation can improve the success of our intentions. Loving kindness or metta meditation focuses on decreasing the perceived boundary between self and others. Our culture has a strong focus on rugged individualism and zero-sum games, where there must be a winner and likely many losers. These means even affect the formation of our intentions. An intention of being successful in our culture might involve being ruthless in one's relationship with colleagues in pursuit of the limited high-status positions available. We will practice a simple loving kindness meditation later to experience the dynamic of this practice. But when we emphasize the separateness of individuals, we ignore a growing body of scientific evidence and a long history of Eastern thought that the concept of a physically distinct and free agent self is a dubious entity. Even our bodies are a community of cooperation with literally trillions of non-human cells linked together in a tight bond of symbiosis with our own cells. We could not digest a meal or move a muscle without their cooperation. In fact, the whole biosphere is linked in an intimate give and take that makes our Earth a habitable paradise. As Thich Nhat Hanh writes, we do not exist independently, we inter-are. It is this very interbeing that science has discovered in the common DNA we share with all other life forms on the planet. But it's not just life forms with which we have co-evolved, but it is the abundance of water and the composition of the air and the soil, which taken together allows all life to thrive. So if our intentions are wittingly or unwittingly selfishly targeted to our exclusive narrow interests, we will likely find that they fit nicely into that road to hell if our collective attention is strong enough to push against the great tide of life. But if we intend and attend to the welfare of all, we pursue it with the same vigor and numbers as we pursue monetary success, then we would see clearly that failure to succeed at domination is a wonderful gift, and that to fail at gifting everyone with happiness, health, safety, and peace is no success at all. So amen, blessed be, and may we embrace loving kindness for ourselves and all sentient beings, and of course, our blue boat home. Thank you, Dad, for that beautiful music, and for Tracy and all of the rest of the music today. It's been wonderful. Not to forget Wendy, beautiful voice. So at this point, I would like to take us on a brief loving kindness meditation. If you would mind to assume the position for meditation, get yourself relaxed, and close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that, or focus broadly on something in front of you. As you allow your eyes to gently close or gently focus, tune into your body and your breath, making whatever adjustments are necessary to relax. You can begin by bringing to mind yourself as you are right now. Try to connect with your own deepest intentions for happiness, ease, and safety. Cultivate an intention to open your heart to your own well-being by silently saying to yourself, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be at ease. Say them softly and often enough that you can connect with their meaning and the intention behind them. Now bring to mind a good friend or a loved one, maybe a relative, a teacher, or a mentor, or maybe even a pet. Connect with your desires that they are happy and at ease. Just like you, this being wants to feel safe and to be healthy. Cultivate this intention of kindness by offering this being the following wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. Let this being go and bring to mind a neutral being. This is someone you don't know very well. It may be someone who works somewhere you go a lot, a coworker, or maybe a neighbor. Despite not knowing this being well, you recognize that this being also wants to be happy. Offer this person the phrases of loving kindness, connecting with the intention to care about their well-being. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. And as you let this neutral being go, bring to mind somebody who you find difficult. It's not necessary to remember the perfect difficult being now. Actually, you may not want to pick the most difficult person in your life initially. Instead, choose someone who hasn't won any difficulty awards. Maybe someone you just find annoying. Offer the phrases recognizing that you're connecting with an intention to care for this person. Don't be stingy with your effort, as no doubt someone might have chosen you for this exercise as well. Although we may not feel it wholeheartedly every time we offer wishes, we try to realize our intention with the phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at ease. When I ring the bell, open your eyes and come back to this service, refreshed and feeling healthy, happy, safe, and at ease.
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, we live with intention by offering our plate to support the Longmont nonprofit, Homeless Outreach Providing Encouragement, or HOPE, which runs a Safe Lot program nominated by Jean Cannella. HOPE runs a Safe Lot program, a church parking lot in Longmont that has become a kind of sanctuary of community members who have a barrier to entering traditional homeless shelters and need to sleep safely in their vehicles without fear of assault or harassment. The Safe Lot program provides access to bathrooms, a shower, a communal room where participants get nightly dinner and breakfast every morning, and storage so Safe Lot participants have a safe area to store belongings instead of keeping everything in their car. Please give generously, as you so often do. And after you've made your gift, please answer in the chat the following question. What is the current you swim against? Or what is your most vibrant intention? for the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world, and to homeless outreach, providing encouragement, hope, we dedicate our offerings. And now I invite us into our time of community connection, our time of sacred sharing. If you'd like to share a joy or concern, you can type it into the chat window, sending it to everyone, and let us know briefly what is in your heart today. I will read aloud what you share. If you would like us to be able to follow up with you, please tell us your full name and where you live. I'll put a stone in our sacred waters on your behalf.
Beloved, let me start by saying I am sorry for any hurt feelings from the words I used concerning the current I have to swim against. It did not occur to me that this would be anything other than recognition of how horribly our society trains us in separation and hatefulness, and that we must recover from it and to name it so that it is clearly what we are trying to avoid going forward. But also, I wish to speak to all of the joys and concerns, the marriages that are split asunder by any kinds of circumstances, difficulty communicating, difficulty intending and attending to the love that we offer each other in marriage, to the deaths of those we care about, those who we wish we could have been closer to, and for the joys that inhabit each day, the joy to be alive with the sunlight, with the birds, at the feeders, and the children who are just awakening on this shore of life and walking, talking as best they can. Grateful for the great expertise of our medical community in healing our illnesses. We give thanks for all of these things and the love and understanding that holds our community together. Amen, and blessed be.
May I be well, may I be filled with loving kindness.
Thank you, Tad and Wendy. I'll have some announcements. Reverend Lydia is away on study through next Sunday. Please text her if you have any pastoral concerns. We have a special breakout room opportunity today. Even before the Marshall Fire, Boulder County was experiencing a crisis in mental health outcomes. Please join us after the service today for a Zoom listening session about BVCAN and Together Colorado's Grassroots Unity Summit on mental health funding. We would like to hear your feedback and stories for a report that will go to Boulder County Commissioners. You can also choose to join a discussion with the service leaders or an unstructured coffee hour breakout room. At our Sunday service on February 13th, we will begin to explore the ways that BVUUF is a community rising together. We'd love to know your answers to the question, in what ways does BVUUF inspire you to rise? For example, are you inspired towards social justice work? Are you inspired towards personal growth? Are you inspired to rise and heal the wounds in yourself or others? Send videos, photos, or sound recordings of your responses to the above questions to Tad Koriath, Music Director at bvuuf.org, or text to 303-359-6617 by January 31st. Contact information is also in the chat. If you have photographs that show BVUUF as a community rising, please send those too. The final video with your answers overlaid with music from our fellowship choir will then be shown in service on February 13th. Thank you all for your consideration. We look forward to hearing your responses. Once again, it's talent time at BVUUF. Saturday, February 12th in the evening from 7 to 8:30, we'll enjoy a smorgasbord of homegrown fellowship fun. To participate, send a video of yourself, your family, your pets, doing something you love to do and that you like to share with the community. Send to Tad. You can paste the contact info. To Tad, Music Director at bvuuf.org. This could be any variety of talent, a song, a dance, a poem, or simply of a demonstration of something you love to do, like cooking, gardening, hiking, woodworking. If you'd like to demonstrate your skill live, we can do that too. Just let Tad know in advance. Entry should be no longer than 3 minutes. Send in by Monday, February 7th to be sure you're included. Thanks, and hope to see you there. And now we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And we have a benediction. This is Benediction by John O'Donoghue, Irish poet. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. May a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight.